Hey everyone, happy holidays from Miss Lacey here and her silly little monkey toy. And this is part 2 of the multi-fold card video set. And in this one, I'm going to share with you some of the creative processes that I went through to create the cards you saw in the last video. The first card we saw was the Z-fold or the accordion card. And for this one, after I cut and folded the cardstock, as I described in the last video, I just covered it with some bold striped scrapbook paper, added a stamped image on the inside with a greeting on it, inked around all the edges, and then I cut out one of my mandalas using decal scissors and attached that to the front with a ribbon as well so that I could close it. Now for this one, this Z-fold card, I used some ribbon. And this was wire ribbon, pretty wide as you can see here. If you pick up ribbon like this to put on greeting cards, make sure you get the kind that's not fuzzy but that has a very lightweight ribbon in it. Works great that way. I measured and cut the whole thing so that it would go all the way around the card first. And then I attached the very front piece so that I would have a good starting point. Working with this stuff is a little tricky, so in order to make sure the ribbon came around and met at the right spot in the front, I gave myself a couple of little pencil guides there. Then I put all my tape on the card, making sure to include tape on each of the fold lines around all the edges, and on longer pieces I also put a little extra of the sticky tape in the middle. This is a drawn out process. It takes a while to get this piece accomplished, but after the ribbon is applied, it doesn't take too much longer to finish the card then. You do have to take your time when you're putting the ribbon on and make sure you're using a very strong double-faced tape and that all your folds are coming in smoothly. Then I cut out one of my mandalas, put it on a dark green cardstock so that it would match the rest of this design here, the ribbon. And then I cut very closely so that it just provided a color border around this. And the mandala was colored using gold tones. That matches the shiny gold in this ribbon. Then I added a brad in the middle of the mandala by punching a hole here using my small hole punch. And then I pulled out a brad that was kind of brassy. Had a pretty shine to it. I thought that looked well on it. Then this mandala was put on top of the card using double face dimension tape, like your sticky dots, except these were squares. After putting the mandala on the front, the next step was to add my greeting. So I did a stamped image on some cardstock that matched the inside, cut the little edge on both of them, and then the straight edge on this side that's going to go right up against the card. My image that said "Celebrate the Season" was just barely long enough to fit in there. It was almost too long, but it worked out fine. You can see here the finished card. The next card I worked on was the gatefold card. I put a colored mandala on the front after I mounted it on black cardstock. This one was done in red, green, yellow, and white with some black bordering work on it. Did another mandala on the inside, cutting it in half. A stamped image of the bird, "Celebrate the Season," was there. And then I did a little tangling on the swirl on the underneath side of that stamped image. That was it. So this one took a little bit more time here. What I did was I took the cream colored cardstock that I cut and folded in the last video that I did for you, and I put vintage colored snowflakes all over it using stamps and distressed ink, and then I also distressed all the edges of the cardstock too. Then I added a shiny gold ribbon all the way around it. You can see the raw edges are still here, but I applied it the same way I did the ribbon on the previous card. And then I colored I covered 3 mandalas, the same color tones as the stamps that I used. They're golds and browns and yellows. And these 2 mandalas happen to line up together to offer a 3D effect here around the edges. If you have an image that doesn't line up, then you might want to reverse it on your computer before you color it in. These are mandalas that I colored previously, that I drew earlier in the year, Now I have these rough edges here that I need to take care of with my ribbon. I'm going to cover those up using this smaller mandala that I colored in using the same color tones. I cut it in half, so 1/2 will go on the inside here. The other half is going to go on the outside. There's not a rough edge here, but it just will be an extra element when you open the card. So we'll attach that with some great little sticky tape. I love my double face sticky tape gun. That glider works so well. It's a little squeaky, but it's a wonderful tool to have in my studio. I use it probably more than anything else. And this is my finished card. This is a vintage snowflake card. Now the next card I worked on was one that has a pocket in it. So I colored another mandala and cut it out this time with decal edge scissors and put it on the front of this card to begin with. Very easy application. Took hardly any time at all. And then since this is going to be a single pocket card, I just cut off the left side like I showed you in the previous video. If you haven't watched that video yet, go ahead and take a look at it. Now I wanted to make this pocket have a little bit of fanciness to it, so I took a scalloped edge decorative scissor and cut along the corner, inside corner of this pocket, and then along the outside edge. When you cut the inside corner, it also helps the card fold a little bit easier. So it has this pretty little scalloped edge now, but it doesn't stand out enough. So I took a piece of white scrap paper and added it to the inside of this card using double-faced tape. Then I snipped off the straight edge and used my decorative scissors again, lining it up to the previous cut that I made, and made a second cut on the white cardstock so that it would match it and it would make a pretty little border. After that, my card just needed the end taped up here so that any kind of an additional item I put in the pocket won't fall out. And this is now ready for a gift certificate or an artist trading card to go inside the pocket. And on the left side is where I'll go ahead and put my greeting, either using a white pen or maybe I'll paste a greeting in there. This next card is basically the same as the first one, except I did a double pocket here. I used the same idea with the white on the background so that it would contrast against the red. And then I also put a little label on the front of the pocket. And I've got another one ready to go here. I simply cut a piece of white cardstock the same size as my pocket, or a little bit smaller, and did some doodle work on it. Now this can be used to write the word photo, where I'm going to put the photos or the person's name. Now on the outside, I took a drawing that I did earlier this year and cut it down to size for the front of the card. Added a green ribbon here on the left hand side that matches it. Tied a bow and attached the bow with some glaze glue here. And once that dried, I went ahead and attached the drawing to the front of the card using double-faced tape again. And now this card is ready to go. I just need to add some goodies inside the pockets here, and it's ready to go in the mail. On the last pocket card, what I did was made a tag bookmark to go inside the front diagonal pocket, and then I just slipped an ATC inside this other pocket. I used my own snowflake drawing. I scanned it and then printed it out on some resume paper on one side only, as you can see here. I folded my card as I showed you in the previous video, and then added some fuzzy fiber along each of the edges of where the pockets are going to be. And I'm tucking the pockets on the inside, so part of the snowflake paper you won't see at all. Then I took my favorite snowflake from the bunch and reproduced it again on some cardstock, colored it in using some Sharpies so that the colors would match the cardstock that I'm using. And then the smaller size repeated pattern I did with the snowflake I used to create my bookmark tag. I added the Let It Snow stamped image and colored it in pink so the pink and purple matches the card. These snowflakes are blue. I don't know if you can see that in the video or not. And as you can see here, I tipped all the edges of the card and all the embellishments with a little bit of dark pink ink. Added a little eyelet to the front of my large snowflake, and then I attached it to the card using dimensional tape like I did previously. Then I added a little piece of matching cardstock on the left-hand side so that I can put my greeting over here. Colored in some of the snowflakes on the inside of the card. Taped the outside pocket edges, and then I was done. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you celebrate all the good things in your world this holiday season.